Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect, episode 188. Today's date is May 31st, 2025, and I am Duds, or Duds Versus, known to the rest of the interwebs.
And I'm Carl. The date is the 1st of June, 2025.
Liar!
You may know me as Carl Rides. Later in this episode, we'll be having a great chat with Andrew Farago, the author of a Minecraft movie from block to big screen. But first, Duds, what have you been up to recently?
I've actually been playing Minecraft, believe it or not.
No.
And it all goes downhill from there. So I actually took an extended break from the game. A little bit of burnout, but not the real reason. So medically, I've had some issues come up. I got a little sick, not enough to be like full-blown sick, but enough where I didn't want to listen to my nasally voice in a microphone anymore. So that passed, and then I ended up hurting my back. And then the big thing was I started to get numbness in my hands so bad to the point where 6 of my 10 fingers I could no longer feel anymore.
Eek.
Yeah, like they would move and I could tell them, hey, move. And I could grab things and stuff. I could still type on a keyboard, hold a pen and all that stuff. But I physically couldn't feel what they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of a freaky situation. So I tried to stop using my hands as much as possible. Turns out it's carpal tunnel, like I think I theorized on the last podcast.
Yeah.
It had gotten so bad that 6 of my fingers were essentially worthless to me. But I got some medication for that, and they're healed up. They're not 100%. I would put them at 80%, and I don't know if they're ever going to get better. It feels like this has been an extremely long process with no end in sight. But my doctor was also worried about my back, because for the past year or so, I'm starting to have a lot more back injuries. And for someone my age, while I'm not a spry young person anymore, my age shouldn't have that many back problems in the locations I'm having them. I'm having them in very odd spots. If you were to throw your back out, it would happen in like this part of your back, and I'm having problems in that part of my back. And she's like, let's go get some x-rays. I want to see what's going on in there. So I went and I did some x-rays, and it turns out I have arthritis in my spine. Yay!
Ew, that doesn't sound good.
No, which basically means when it flares up, there are certain sitting positions I cannot sit in. It is extremely uncomfortable. And it's never the same position. So like I can get in my car, feel perfectly fine, and the car ride will hurt my back. Get out of the car, go sitting in my office chair, feel fine. My office chair might cause me pain. Sitting in there for 8 hours a day hurts. Getting in my car, feel fine. Maybe coming home, laying in bed, I can't get comfortable in my own bed, but sitting on the couch, fine. It's very weird, and it's very pain in the butt to fix.
Bit of a weird one.
Yep. So it's just kind of one of the things I have to figure out. We're trying some core exercises. I've been working out a lot over this past year. This year alone, I'm 85 pounds down from last year. So that's helping a lot.
Nice.
But it's also bringing up new issues because I'm wearing my body down with how much I'm working out. I'm doing what a normal person should do. I'm doing 3 times that much in a week.
Eek.
It's a lot, but it's something I needed to be done. Like I went from being full-blown diabetic to now I am no longer diabetic. I went from being on 3 blood pressure pills to now I am almost off of the last one. So I could be back to full-blown healthy here within the next year. So that's why I'm having a lot of injuries and stuff come up.
So a mixed health picture.
Yes. There's some good, there's some bad.
Yep.
My hands have finally gotten good enough where I wanted to play some Minecraft again, so I jumped back on the create server.
I saw.
And I noticed my lava farm was empty. My steam engines were broketed.
Oh dear.
Not broketed in the fact that I needed to rebuild them. It's no lava hurts them.
Lava chicken.
No lava chicken. So I came up with a new way to funnel lava into the steam engine system, along with a reserve emergency backup that I'm using to fuel other sections of my base. It doesn't necessarily fuel the steam engines. It fuels a blaze burner to create industrial iron. So I can now have industrial iron on demand, which is awesome because I like industrial iron in the create mod.
It is a very, very nice set of blocks, the industrial iron. Very cool.
Yeah. But then I started to record an episode just to find my OBS settings were just wrecked. and nothing worked. I ended up getting in a call with Loki from Channel 64. The man's a saint. We were in a call for like 3 hours, 3.5 hours, reworking my settings just to get them back to normal. I really wanted to be able to have audio tracks on different tracks. So like my voice was on a track, the game sounds was on a track.
Yeah.
And if anyone else was in the call, it was on a different track. Couldn't figure out how to do that. For some reason, even if we told it, this track does this track pulls from this source, this track pulls from that source, it would still combine all of them onto a single track and then just make multiple wavelengths. So don't know why it did that.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah. But I've got it essentially, hopefully, back to normal. I haven't been able to do a recording since that. Did a lot of working on the Jeep, but I'll save that for post-show because this is a Minecraft podcast.
Apparently.
Yeah. I've reworked the front of my base, which I'm super excited for. I don't know if you've seen that, Carl.
I've not been on. I saw you playing.
Yeah.
But I haven't been on since.
Yeah. The front of my base has got a refresh.
Nice.
It's pretty nice. That's what I'm working on in this episode, so I'm hoping to get back to it a little bit tomorrow. Yeah, I'm having more fun.
That's good. That's good.
Yep, getting back into it slowly. What about you? What have you been up to?
I moved some of my stuff around because I should probably talk about Minecraft first.
Yeah.
I did do a bit of Minecraft before you got on.
I saw.
I was on my base doing my roof finally because, if you actually look at my base on the Create server, it's, party in the front, nothing in the back at the moment.
Yeah.
Including the roof. So I've got most of the roof sorted out now. For some reason, I decided to use tinted glass.
Smart.
Why? I don't know. But it takes so long to make. It's so annoying.
Yeah.
But it does look good, and I am happy that I used it in the end. Because I want to get that top section finished where the train station is going to be. And to do the train station area, I need the roof in place to know what dimensions I'm working with. So I have to finish this roof. So that's what I've been working on. And I hope to get on next week when stuff's a little bit less frantic at work.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully I can do some of that. The rest of the time recently, I've been enjoying the sun because, duds, the UK finally went over like 25 degrees Celsius recently. And so I've been outside and, participating in beverages at local establishments, shall we say.
You want me to burst your bubble?
Go on.
So I've found that usually whether I get, you get like 3 days later. It has not broken 70 degrees till today this week, and it's rained every single day this week.
Yeah, our weather has kind of gone downhill the last couple of days, so I'm glad that I spent our bank holiday Monday in the public house. So that was nice. Just, a bit of sun. It always lifts the mood and everything, and it's good.
Yeah.
Been watching a bit of YouTube I've been so tired from work. It's that time of the year, especially since we've had the Minecraft movie and Lilo and Stitch and all these films.
Mm-hmm.
It's been very, 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 very busy. And I've come home absolutely tired. I just don't want to do anything. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube for games that I don't have time or the patience to play at the moment, like Planet Coaster 2, Hotel Architect, Schedule 1, these kind of like new games that have come out. So I've been watching a bit of those from some content creators. And I've also been watching, I binge Slow Horses on Apple TV Plus.
Mm-hmm.
They had a deal where you can get 3 months for like $2.99. So I was like, okay, I'm actually going to watch this show. And it's like the best thing ever. I watched an entire season, which is only 6 episodes because that's how we do seasons in the UK. But they're 6 proper 1-hour episodes, so it's 6 hours. And the story spans a season. So you get 6 hours of really in-depth story. And then the next season is a completely different story. And it's, for those of you who don't know out there, and I think we mentioned it a little bit last time, but Slow Horses is like a spy thriller where they're sort of the rejects from MI5, but they still like get cases to do and they kind of get in the way and mess things up and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It is so well produced. It surprised me how well this show is put together. So I've really been enjoying that. Binging it a little bit too much all at once. I've watched like 2 2 of the seasons now, and I kind of gave myself a break because there's only 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good show. Check it out. It's an amazing show. But that's kind of it from me. Not a lot of Minecraft, but some.
I will say, I was also on the Apple TV. I didn't get the same deal you did, but if you are a Prime member, you got a week trial for free.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so I really wanted to see Fountain of Youth with John Krasinski, Natalie Portman, and directed by Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
Great actors, really like Guy Ritchie. Fountain of Youth was total garbage.
Really? Oh.
One of the worst movies I've ever seen.
That's not good.
It's not good. It's not good at all. You could tell every single person on that set was phoning it in and didn't care.
Oh, dear.
They tried to make a knockoff of National Treasure, and it did not look good. It felt like a knockoff. That being said, I watched The Gorge on Apple TV with Miles Teller and Anna Taylor-Joy. Surprisingly amazing. It's not one of those you take seriously. You just turn your brain off, and I had so much fun during that movie.
I find I guess this goes for a lot of content, like subscription services, but I guess they just kind of have more content, so it's less noticeable. But Apple TV especially, like, it's either a massive win, a massive hit, or it's complete rubbish.
Yeah.
There's no real in between. But I think that goes for Netflix or Amazon and that as well. There's just so much content you don't really notice it with them, where Apple TV has quite a limited library, so it's kind of more obvious.
Yeah.
Moving on to the news.
I don't have any real update news. I think the biggest thing was we can now craft saddles.
Yep.
In these last couple updates. It really was not worth me going through every change log for the past, 5 weeks?
Yeah.
To try to pull out what's stuck in my head. We can craft saddles. That's the big thing.
You guys have watched Snapshot videos and Exuma's videos and stuff. You know what's going on.
Yeah. They're very small updates, and it's basically, we fixed this bug. It's like, okay.
Yeah. We're still waiting on the fabric version of Create.
Yeah. Omni warned me that it might be a while.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's going to be anytime soon from what I've been reading on their Discord. But we'll get there eventually. A Minecraft movie. We made a little prediction last episode of what we thought Minecraft movies' ending total would be in terms of box office revenue. I was on the optimistic side. I thought they could crack that $1 billion, and that's just like 920.
Yeah.
Well, it hasn't completely exited theaters yet, but it is running down the last few days of being on.
You can buy it on digital, so it's done.
Yeah. So as of today, as of a few minutes before this recording, the box office revenues worldwide are $944,300,000. Basically, 24 million over what you said and quite a way from what I was projecting. I thought it could do it. It got close. It's, on its budget, it's done exceptionally well.
Yeah.
The top markets don't really surprise you. Top, US, next, UK, Germany, Australia, Mexico, China, Japan, and France. And everyone else is under 20 million. So, the kind of markets you'd expect it to do well, and it did well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, pretty good numbers for a, 150 million budget?
Yeah.
They made bank.
Well, we knew they were. And let's remember, it was a good movie. It was not a great movie. They're going to come up with a number 2.
Oh, they have to.
It made too much money not to, so I assume they will have a number 2.
At this point, it's like 99% sure at this point.
Yeah. I hope it's really good.
Yeah. Again, we'll be speaking to the author of the new Minecraft movie book later on in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a really fun interview, so stick around for that, guys.
Yep. Should we continue with a little ad from Jimbo?
Yeah, he's going to give us a little reminder of how you can get a discount on your own Minecraft server from Bisect Hosting.
You can get a discount on your own Minecraft server through our partnership with Bisect Hosting, offering our community 25% off any game server for their first month. This is for new clients only. Visit bisecthosting.com/TWE and use the code TWE at checkout to receive the discount.
Carl now makes me listen to our ads. We never used to have to do that before, Carl.
It's for the listeners. It's mainly for Mr. Monkey, who's in live chat. And I also made him listen to it before the show because I pressed the button by mistake.
Yeah. That's another thing. If you guys didn't know, if you're a patron, you can listen to the show live when we go live.
Yeah.
So there's that.
Check that out.
Anyways, should we get to Mending Minecraft? We had you guys choose, well, what do we call it? Structures?
Yeah.
Carl has deleted my script, by the way, so we're going off script.
That did happen.
We had you guys choose between trail ruins, oh my words, pillager outpost, and the shipwreck, and the overwhelming winner, pillager outpost.
Yeah.
We're going to work on that. I'm going to kind of cheat a little bit. I had this idea. It doesn't really change the outpost per se.
Dun dun dun.
It adds to the outpost, which I think is really cool.
Addition's as good as a change.
I had it in a dream. We're going with it.
Do we need like some like mood music for a dream?
No mood music. The big thing was you have a normal outpost, but it would have a section in the middle with a ladder down, reminiscent of the igloo. So you know how in some igloos you can go down and you learn how to cure a villager through there.
Yeah.
The pillager outpost, you would go down and find a labyrinth. Not a super big maze or anything, but a small one that is in 4 sections, and each of the 4 sections houses a villager. You have the iron golem locked up upstairs, ground level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why isn't there any villagers? And it's obvious because villagers kill the villagers. But I didn't want them to. I wanted them to capture the villagers. So the villagers will be imprisoned in the labyrinth. Your job is to go around and find the villagers and save them and get a key. You get all 4 keys and you unlock a door for a boss battle.
Boss battle.
Yeah. So the boss battle is going to bring back the illusioner.
Okay.
The illager that has not been brought back into the game. So you will fight an illusioner to beat the structure, or if it's in a snowy biome, you'll fight the chillager, because I'm not calling it an iceologer. That's dumb. I think Minecraft calls it an iceologer because they heard chillager and go, oh man, that's a cool name. We're not going to call it that. But yeah.
They should have just ran with it.
Yeah.
Just take it.
Take on the chillager.
Yeah.
That way it brings back 2 fan favorite mobs that didn't make it into the game. And at the same time, if you don't want to face those guys, you don't have to. You don't have to do anything with the pillager outpost. It puts it in a spot where if all you want to do is go and loot the tower for the little bit of goodies it has or get the allays, you can. Or if you want to go a little bit further, you can get some villagers locked in a cell and you get a chance to fight some other mobs. And I think that was the best of both worlds.
Nice. I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I thought it's pretty cool. It doesn't really change the outpost, which it makes it a little bit cheaty. But I like the idea of putting mobs in that everyone really liked, but I didn't like because I didn't want to have to constantly face bad guys. But now it gives you a challenge and you get to choose if you want to step forward and fight those guys, which I think is an awesome idea, especially because we have the key system from the trial chambers.
Yeah, that's true. So it's sort of like reusing that system for something else. Yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't really do much to those pillager outposts. You know, they serve a purpose. They're quite simple builds. I don't think there's much you could really change about them that would make any kind of meaningful difference anyway. So kind of adding something to that area kind of makes more sense anyway.
Yeah. I toyed with the idea, like, if you beat the boss pillager, does that area stop spawning pillagers? Because somebody might want to live there, but I know some people use it for farms, so it doesn't really would make sense to do something like that. So I don't know. I'm leaving that part open-ended. So if somebody wants to let me know, like, oh no, you should do it this way, go ahead. Like, I didn't really think that far into it. I just knew people want options.
Yeah.
So the option to do the labyrinth is there, and the option not to do the labyrinth is there.
Yeah, let us know in the Spotify comments, the YouTube comments, on Discord as well. Let us know what you think of those changes and what you'd change about the Pillager Outpost. So next month, Duds, what are we doing for the next vote?
We're going to vote on the mace, smithing templates, and the spyglass. We're doing items next month.
Nice. Also, guys, listen to the end of the episode when there'll be a nice outtake.
Yay!
Yay! Outtake. We love outtakes at the Withering Effect.
Carl loves outtakes.
Carl loves outtakes. It's the first thing I do. I do the outtake first. I edit that first. And then I do the show.
It shows you where his true allegiance lies. In the outtakes.
Love it, love it. So that's next month.
Mm-hmm.
Look out for... Deleted my own script.
Nice. That's what you get.
Look out for the votes on Spotify, YouTube, and the Discord. We'll add them all together, and we'll mend the winner on the next episode.
Mm-hmm.
Is it time for our main topic?
I think so. Now, this main topic was pre-recorded. It was a fun recording.
It was. Joining us now is Andrew Farago, author of A Minecraft Movie from Block to Big Screen. Welcome to the show, Andrew.
Hi, great to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem at all.
No problem. I think we should start with getting to know you a little bit. Could you tell our audience about yourself and any of the other books you've been involved in?
Yeah, I'm the curator of the Cartoon Art Museum in San Francisco. So that's my day job. I've been doing that for nearly 25 years at this point.
Nice.
So that involves putting together exhibitions of original cartoon and comic art and maintaining our permanent collection, traveling to conventions and working with artists on projects and presentations and classes and all kinds of educational things. That's the day job.
That sounds really cool.
And almost 20 years ago, I started writing just kind of as a sideline. So I got to know editors and publishers. I was invited to... I kicked things off by writing some essays for a book on the 100 greatest Looney Tunes. That led to an invitation to write a book called The Looney Tunes Treasury about a year after that, which was a history of the Looney Tunes characters as told by themselves. So Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck and Porky Pig telling their own life stories. So that was a really fun project. Yeah. That led to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the ultimate visual history.
Yeah, you're hitting like my entire childhood with Looney Tunes and Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
When you sit down and you have the family portrait for 3 years in a row, I wore a Ninja Turtle sweater.
Oh, wow.
So
wow. Walking the walk.
Yeah.
So that was a really intense project. That was about 2 years of interviewing and tracking down everybody I could find who was related to Ninja Turtles, from Eastman and Laird to Vanilla Ice and all the voice actors from the original cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually led to being able to do an updated version of that 10 years later on. And in the meantime, I've written books on Batman and Peanuts and Harley Quinn and Sideshow Collectibles. So I've gotten to be, I've gotten to be, have a pretty steady presence in the coffee table book comics histories. So it's been a really fun experience getting to know all these. And basically when an editor calls up and offers something, I see, do I have some interest in it? Do I have the time to do it? What can I bring to the table here that nobody else can?
That actually falls right into our next question, was how were you approached about writing this book?
This was, not quite, almost a year ago. So last summer, an editor at Insight Editions called me up and said, I may have a project for you. She was being very secretive. So she said, first of all, just, are you available, over the next 6 months to work on a book? I said, yeah, I'm up for anything. And Insight does very high-end, really, really nice, very visually oriented art book. So it's like I'm thinking it could be anything. It could be a movie, it could be a video game, it could be comics or animation.
Yeah.
It was all of it. Right? Yeah. And she says, okay, what do you know about Minecraft? And I thought about it for not even a second. And I said, son plays Minecraft all the time. I'm actually looking over at him right now, and he's playing Minecraft right this minute. So it's like I've been hearing about Minecraft every day for 3 3 years, so I think I can handle that. And she said, there's a Minecraft movie. I'll set up a meeting with us and Mojang, talk about it. I didn't really know anything about the movie yet because I remember talking to them and they were talking about the actors in it.
Mm.
I was under the impression, oh, this will be a fully animated movie.
Yeah, so did
It's
we at first.
Yeah.
And I said, that's great. It's so smart to get somebody like Jack Black to do a fully animated Minecraft movie. They mentioned Jason Momoa, and I thought, okay, he's got an interesting enough voice. Like I think I don't know if he's voice actor territory, but yeah, we'll do that. And then they realized I didn't know what I was talking about yet.
Yeah.
And actually, it's live action, and like everybody else, I said, how are you going to do that?
Yeah. Immediate reaction.
What?
I'd been interested in I'd been interested in doing one of these books for quite a while. So I think it was known around the office. Get in on the ground floor, and it's filmmaking is just something that is really interesting to me. So I thought, yeah, if I can talk to people while this is in production and all behind the scenes thing, I think that would be a lot of fun. But yeah, so I said let's do it, and they started setting up interviews, and over the course of the next few months, I did about 24 interviews with cast and crew, and everybody from the actors to the set designers and painters and graphic designers and who made the swords and the costumes, and it was amazing.
Very cool, very cool. You kind of answered one of my questions there. I was going to talk about your interview in the book with Sebastian, who plays Henry, and how that came about.
Yeah, I can actually talk about Sebastian a little bit. That was really interesting. So yeah, between Mojang and Legendary, who are the producers of the film, they were able to set nearly every interview that I was hoping for. But with Sebastian is interesting because he's not much older than my son, so it's kind of typically I'm interviewing people roughly my age or a little bit older. So it was interesting to talk to somebody in that age bracket. His father sat in on the call just to make sure it's. And I told him, like, we're not doing not a gotcha interview. We're just having a fun talk about. Yeah, and again, like from talking to my son, it was just like, okay, we're going to talk about video games. We're going to talk about what's it like going from these smaller productions to this gigantic, over the top, building the entire Minecraft world in New Zealand, just down the road from all the hobbits and everything else. And yeah, and he was a very cool kid. Like he was very, very, very grounded, considering he had just spent a few months again in New Zealand with Jack Black and Emma Myers. And
you'd be on kind of a high, wouldn't you, at that point? He's just like,
did that, and then it's back to back to school with his friends, and like just waiting, like all of us, like waiting to see what's the reaction going to be to this movie. Is this going to be? I had a very nervous few weeks after the book had been turned in, and we were waiting to see. I'm sure you'd all seen the YouTube reactions to the trailers. And I heard comments of the commenters. What are these animals? What's going on here? What's Jack Black think he's doing?
We definitely fell in the overly critical of the trailer.
Yes, at the start.
Portion.
Yeah,
we were not a fan. And funny thing is, our last episode, we talk about how we actually went in movie. The more we saw of it, the more we liked, and it got to the point where it did feel Minecrafty. It didn't at first glance, but the more you got into this world, it's like, okay, this makes sense. This does feel right, and you started to enjoy a lot of the choices that were made visually.
My interview with Jens Bergensten, who's top director over there. My interview with him was about a day after the trailer dropped. And that was one of my questions toward the end of our interview. Is trailer's out. Yeah, we've seen about 8 million YouTube videos. People are freaked out about the pink.
The sheep.
The sheep, and he said, we've got time. We're working on it. We're not going to change everything, but he said, we're taking those comments to heart. We want to make sure this is the movie they want. Yeah, and they had their animators and everybody working around the clock on that. One of the really fun things for me was I got to read the script back in July last year, so I got to see how much stayed in. I got a sense of how much Jack Black got to improvise, how much Danielle Brooke got to change on the spot. So that was really fun seeing some little changes, some really big changes, but everything they did, they had very good instinct.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite parts of the book when you were talking about the planning and stuff, it's like they set rules. Like, okay, this isn't going to be identical to Minecraft because we just can't and do live action. So they created a set of rules, and it was do not break the rules, and everything will work. And very much once I read that in the book, I went, that's exactly it. They created a rule set that was Minecraft enough and stayed within the rule set, and that's why everything worked.
Definitely.
Yeah, you definitely you need that for any. I'd say for any fictional world, you need to establish the rules, and you establish again that there are rules that are absolutely meant to be broken. When they say things like, no one has ever, flown to the top of this mountain or drawn this sword or something. There are those kinds of story rules. You set those up, but they really put. Obviously, it's Mojang who is overseeing it, so they're wonderful caretakers of the Minecraft property, and so they did have their push it this far, we can do this, but this is too much into the realm of magic or pretend, and that's not going to fly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were amazing when it came to that.
One of my questions I have down is like, did you get to visit New Zealand in the set, or was everything kind of video interviews and stuff like that?
This was pretty much entirely over Zoom. So I did memorize the time difference between California and New Zealand because I had to do so many
time zones. Fun.
Yeah, my desk mat is a map of the world with different time zones because of that same reason.
Yeah, the timing didn't quite work out. I think I would have been going to New Zealand on my own dime, which would have I was basically writing the book for free if that had happened. But again, people were all over the place at this point. The people who were still in New Zealand when I was getting really deep into the book, more on the production side of things. So it was it was the animators and the graphic designers. Most of the actors were actually already back home in Los Angeles and wherever their homes were. People like Grant Major. That was one of my favorite interviews. Grant Major, production designer on Lord of the Rings, and they tapped him for Minecraft. He was there, and he was already working on his next project. So some of the people who were in New Zealand had already wrapped things up. Jared Hess was over there, but that was working with the editors and the figuring out what additional scenes do we need, what else do we have to do here. So I don't know that there would have been much to see if I'd made it over there, but if I get another excuse, like maybe if I get to do a Lord of the Rings book down the road, maybe I'll build that into my contract.
There was definitely a lot of Lord of the Ring references in this book. I very much enjoyed that.
Again with and Grant Major, I think, got everyone in that mindset, but also so many of the crew, the people who did the weapons, had worked on the Rings of Power TV series for Amazon Prime. Some of them had dated back to the original Lord of the Rings trilogy or the Hobbit movies. So they had some serious chops, and they put into the Diamond Sword, and even Steve's stash. Every background item, so much thought going into it. But because of that overlap, they kind of called this production Lord of the Ding Dongs.
I'd laughed out loud at that line when I read it in the book.
Which, and I think that was such, it's a group. They come together. They've got a quest, and everybody involved loved the movie. They had so much fun with it. The people who were skeptical, they were won over very quickly once they saw the enthusiasm that everybody had for it.
Yeah, I love seeing all of the like models up close in the book, all the pictures and all of the weapons.
The concept art.
Yeah, the concept art was amazing. All the weapons and everything up close with those really high quality pictures. That kind of art book style really works for this film a lot. It was really enjoyable to read through and see all those pictures, and that. It's really interesting. Were they just sent to you by the team in New Zealand then, or did you have kind of input into what you wanted them to send you, or did they just send you a load of things?
We had a lot of discussion about that, and I signed all the non-disclosure agreements, so I had access to all the production art. Again, the reactions that people had to the sheep in that first trailer, if they they'd seen some of the earliest production art, some of the earlier drafts of the script, some of that material. They would have lost their minds. But it was it was really fun talking to them about all the design work that went into it, like just how many drafts of the diamond sword they had to get. What's amazing, the reason that I would have loved to have visited New Zealand actually is they built as much as they could.
Yes.
Not the typical Hollywood production today where they would have had a stick with ping pong balls glued to it or green screen for everything. They built as much as they could. They really wanted everybody to feel like we're in the Minecraft world. We're using Checkits and ender pearls and all of this. So this was the tater tot gun.
Yeah.
And that's a Jared Hess thing, like having tater tots and potatoes and Idaho references in it. So I love that he brought so much of that Napoleon Dynamite kind of sensibility to this world.
I did love that they built as much as they could. When I first thought about live action, I was like, oh, they're just going to green screen everything. And then we started seeing pictures on X, and we were like, oh, there's actual trees and stuff actually going into that studio. And then when you saw like the movie on the big screen, everything just kind of fell into place at that point. You could see that it was proper set design. It wasn't just a green screen. You could see that they'd taken on board the criticism from the trailer, and what came out was a brilliant film in the end. And I think testament to them for doing that.
You had mentioned that they were trying to build the sets outside, and then it ended up being like a rainy season. So they were like, well, we can just move this inside, and they built full-on soundstage sets inside, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. Really cool.
Yeah, and that was the way to go because they realized it's New Zealand. The weather's unpredictable, so you could have a total flood. You could have an absolute torrential downpour in the morning, and then it could be all clear by the afternoon. But obviously, it's not practical to have a set where everything can be destroyed in the morning, and then you have to spend this rebuilding to get it destroyed the next day.
Yeah, I mean, if it rains and you walk on a path 3 times, now it's a muddy pathway, and you can see where people have been walking multiple times. So kind of ruins the magic.
Yeah.
It's like when you watch a movie with a car chase, and then you look at the road and you see all the tire marks from where it had done the stunt like 10 times before then. Killed a little bit of the magic. So I definitely agree the soundstage was the way to go.
Mm-hmm.
And that was easier on the actors. So coordinating everybody and their schedules with the limited time they have, because everybody's got other commitments, and this movie took so long to come together that they really needed to make the most of their time together, and I think they really did that effectively.
Yeah. One of my favorite sections in your book was where they talked about Proplandia, how a lot of the cast members and stuff had a server they were playing on, and like the prop department had their own little section that Jack Black just so happened to find his way into. I loved hearing about all these people who may not be normal Minecraft players now falling into Minecraft and being stuck to the point where, like, I think you showed a couple of screenshots where like there were advertisements of services and stuff on a billboard. I was like, it is just like everybody else who starts a multiplayer server.
Yeah, Jack Black, his son had played, so he knew from way back, and he got really into it. So they said whenever he was not on set, he was in his trailer. Porfy at Mojang set up a dedicated server so everybody could play together. And talking to Jack about Lapis Lazuli, which was his favorite element, and he logged a lot of time. It's interesting, Jason Momoa is the gamer in the movie, and they said he didn't play. He didn't bother with it. But Jack played. Emma and Sebastian had grown up with it, so they were happy to do that. But I think my favorite story was, Jack had his house, and he had a Malgosia tribute painting in his castle, but it was stolen. So he says that that's the plot for the next movie already, is who stole my little gauche painting.
Yeah, I'm very familiar with which painting.
Jack Black getting that would be an amazing film.
It really would be. And with the in credit cutscene Easter egg, they can bring Alex aboard.
Yeah, that's where my feelings went as soon as I saw the end credit scene. I was like, oh, Alex is here. That could be for the sequel.
They've got to do a sequel. It's done too well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think they're We're already thinking about that a little bit.
Mhm.
So,
Well, you have to. Nowadays, with how the movie industry is, like everything has sequels or its own universe and all this stuff. So, but then again,
yeah, so
if it's just a standalone, it's a good standalone movie.
Yeah.
they've got a lot of different directions they can take it. They said the movie, everything came together when they realized they were going to call it a Minecraft movie.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
This is a story. And again, subsequent movies they could bring in a totally different cast and crew, director, everything. They could have some
Maybe
continuity
they
with them.
visit a new seed. The
Yeah,
Minecraft players will be like, oh yeah, that'd be cool.
and like with any universe that has this much in an animation and production art that goes into it,
Mhm.
you have the option to go bigger and better
For sure.
with the sequel. That's pretty exciting to me. I told them I'm on board, ready to go. They and again maybe I'll book that flight to New Zealand.
Yeah, I was about to say maybe you can convince them
Yeah.
to book your flight to New Zealand
Yeah.
for you.
Gonna say
I'll do that. I'll
get
hit
that in the contract.
Stockholm and go to the Mojang headquarters. Do a couple weeks in LA with the server. So we'll do the whole thing.
I think the last question's kind of a big one. What was your favorite part of this whole experience?
So it's my son's enthusiasm for Minecraft.
Mhm.
Why I did not hesitate to sign on for this. So getting to appreciate the game on the level that he does, and letting him sit in on a few of the interviews, including the one with Jack Black.
Wow.
Uh,
That's amazing.
that was such a fun experience. So I don't want to get him in trouble, but we let him go to school a little bit late that day.
That seems
so we could-
perfectly
yeah.
fine to me.
Yep.
Spend an hour talking to Jack Black in the morning before he went home.
How could
I
the
have no
school
idea.
not excuse that?
There's no better excuse than that.
I have no idea if it's California, so it might not have sounded that implausible. But like coming into school with it, says, yeah, I had to talk to Jack Black about his next movie. That's normally that'll get you sent right to the principal's office.
Yeah.
Worth
Stop
it.
fibbing. Why were you really late?
But we're gonna do a book report for his classroom in a couple weeks here.
Very cool.
Nice.
Very nice.
He helped with the caption a lot, which was
Mhm.
great because we're whipping through the pictures and going through all the
Mm-hmm.
art that we'd did with Insight and Mojang and Legendary. I said, so who are these guys? What's this weapon? What's this? How would you describe this? Things that would have taken me a week to look up. He just said, oh yeah, that's
He's got the info.
research assistant was invaluable.
Anything else,
All right.
Tuts?
I think that's it.
I think that's going to do it for our interview with Andrew today. If you enjoyed our conversation and are interested in picking up a copy of a Minecraft movie from block to big screen, I've left links in the show notes for you to purchase it. Go and take a look. It's a beautiful book with loads of really interesting information about the film and great imagery as well. I've also linked Andrew's website there as well for you guys to go check out.
Yes, please do.
Our thanks go to Sarah at Insight Editions for reaching out and helping us set up this interview. Also to Simon & Schuster for sending us copies of the book as well. But most importantly, our thanks go to Andrew for coming on today. It's been a pleasure talking with you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for spending time with us.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's going to do it for today's show. Before I have Carl read us out, I want to say a huge thank you to all of our milk level patrons, Aubni, FragileRock, J-Man, Loki, and the Meme Bug. If you too would like to get access to extra content and exclusive benefits, including our Minecraft server powered by Bisect Hosting, please consider joining at patreon.com/The Withering Effect.
If you like the show, you can share it with all your friends and on social media. If you listen on Spotify, rate and follow us so you never miss a future episode. Or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these helps the show reach more listeners. If you'd like to get in contact with us, send an email to podcast@thewitheringeffect.com, message us on social media, or join our Discord where you can have a chat with everyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. All those links are in the show notes.
This show has been brought to you by our digital producer, Carl, and myself. The amazing music you hear throughout the show was created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found in the show notes. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for getting withered with us. You should probably go drink your milk now. Bye.
See you guys. Did we decide what's next month?
Oh, no, I forgot. Oh, my. I'm sorry.
Let's do that live.
Let's do it live. We did structures. What's next? Is it item? Because I think we did mob. We did structures. It's either biome or items.
Yeah, whichever you want to go for, really.
Let's do items.
Okay.
I like the idea of doing the mace. I have ideas already on how to change the mace, even though I've never gotten to play with one. So I want some more weapon style things.
They've kind of beat you on the saddle, haven't they?
Yeah. Spyglass, mace, and I keep wanting to do wind charge, but I was trying to break it up and not do a lot of trial ruin type stuff or trial chambers. Let's do smithing templates.
Okay, yeah.
I have some ideas for smithing templates that's not specific to smithing templates, but how you can implement them differently.
And we're back in the room. So next month, Duds, what are we doing for the next vote?
I just told you, Carl. Oh, you want to do it for the show now?
Got to do the edit. Come on, dude.
It's been a long day.
So, Duds, what are we doing for the next vote? I'm going to keep saying it until you answer the question. So, Duds, what are we doing for the next vote?